And then we'll get into live Q&A and answer any questions you guys might have about where you are in your business, what's going on, how it could potentially help you guys. And so that will be the agenda for today. For anyone that wants more information after the fact, if you want to see all the bells, all the whistles, all the everything that we do, we run Zoom sessions just like this on a one-by-one or a group basis, and you can come on and see all our plans and pricing and this and that and all the rest. So what we'll do today is we'll start in talking a little bit about Instagram, how important Instagram is for marketing your guys' business and art of photography business. And then afterwards, we can get into some Q&A. I can potentially do some live audits on your guys' account, and we can take it from there. So that's the agenda. And for anyone that's going to be here for a little bit, has to leave, don't worry. All this is being recorded. I will send you guys an email after the fact that'll have links. It'll have the replay of the video and links to some various different resources that I talk about throughout the show, throughout the episode, as it were. But I've been talking a whole bunch recently about Instagram, and one of the things that we do as a business, we run these sessions for folks that are just learning about us, but we also run sessions just like this internally for our customers. And one of the things that I need to continually teach my customers and have my customers get better at is how to market their art, their photography on Instagram. And, I get these questions all the time about what does the average artist make on your platform, and how long does it take to earn back their investment, and and all the types of crystal ball questions that we all kind of want to know and want to ask, right? Where could my business be? Where's it going? And I think in today's day and age, broadly, and then about Instagram specifically, to make it as a successful artist or a photographer is actually pretty simple. It's a pretty simple thing to do. That's the good news. The bad news is that it's not easy. It is a grind. Every single solitary person on this call needs more eyeballs on their art or photography if they want to have something approaching a business. And the only way to get there is get good at how you're going to get those eyeballs, how you're going to get that attention, right? And traditionally in this business, it was like, okay, well, I'm going to get in a gallery. If I could just get in a gallery, I can have a great business and that will work out. I've been running these sessions for 3 years, face to face with hundreds of artists every single solitary week in, week out, every age group, every ethnicity, every part of this country, other countries, different subject matter materials, different aspects of their business. I think the amount of artists or photographers that are in this country and others that make something approaching a decent living in the gallery model is kind of like the amount of people that we know play sports versus the amount of people that we know that are professional athletes. It is that small of a number. So you have the gallery model on one side where you take a 50% haircut, you don't know who your customers are, and very few people make anything above $60,000 a year, period. So there's that side. The other side is you do the show and Thayer circuit, which are all the local shows and Thayers. There's a bunch of those you can sign up for. I do know some people that are doing 20 or 30 or 40 of those things a year, and you can totally grow a fantastic art or photography business that way. But it's really, really hard, right? You have to pay for these things. You have to load up the car. You have to travel, stay in crappy hotels, eat crappy food, on your feet 8 hours a day away from your family. So that's not really a viable way. So what is the for most people anyway? So what is the third way? The third way is you, the artist, the photographer, is responsible for getting the attention, getting the eyeballs on your art or your photography. And while I believe that there has never been a better time in the history of this world to do that, it requires doing the work and marketing yourself on social media, and it takes years to get good at it. And that's the ballgame. That's literally the ballgame of today's day and age that we live in. And I think what most artists and photographers don't necessarily come to terms with, do need to come to terms with, is your art business, your photography business, your creativity business is essentially two separate trains on two separate tracks. There's how good you are at creating the thing and getting better and experimenting with subject matter material and all of that. And that's a train that's going to go on its own track. It's going to have its own speed, ups and downs and everything else. And then there's the other track, which is how good are you guys, can you be at getting attention, acquiring emails, acquiring social media followers, acquiring eyeballs for your art or photography that are interested in what you do. And they're both art forms, and you have to work on both. The problem is most artists and photographers are wired for instant gratification and think that that comes easy. It does not come easy, especially in the beginning when you're building all of that up. And I think it's important to say that, up front. I feel like at a macro, there's so many people running around promising so many results and this is and that's. Take my magic 6-step formula. Here's the secret sauce recipe for Facebook ads, this, that, the other, and all of it is nonsense. There's literally no shortcut in this business whatsoever. But once you focus on the important things and you work at it consistently and you realize, here's the train that's on the track that is my art, here's the train that's on the track that's me becoming an artist at marketing my art, you can do better than any other time in history because of how powerful these social media platforms are, and especially acquiring attention. And chief among those is Instagram. And one of the things that I love about Instagram is not only is it one of the most popular social networks that exists, has one of the largest user bases, but it's essentially just a giant visual search engine. And what do you guys all create? Beautiful visual things, right? Beautiful visual things. In addition to that, you realize as an artist or a photographer trying to grow a business in today's day and age that, when we buy a product or we're contemplating buying a product, we usually go and read the reviews about the product. That's sort of our way of credit checking the product. Sometimes we'll do that via Amazon, right? Or sometimes we'll do like Consumer Reports or this or that. That's sort of a behavior that's firmly ensconced in how we behave as humans and how we consume products and buy products eventually. The same works for artists, except the way that we check the reviews on artists in today's day and age is Instagram, i.e. it's like Instagram represents a little bit of a credibility test. Is this artist on the up and up? Do they have a profile on Instagram? Like they saw you at a show or your art's hanging in a friend's house and they're like, oh yeah, hey, I know this artist. This artist is great. Juliet, if you can't hear anything, the rest of you guys can hear me, right? Yeah, okay. Robert, appreciate that. Heads up. I'm just going to tell her restart Zoom. It just happens, restart Zoom. By the way, like 9 out of 10 times when we have a technology problem, restart whatever the thing is. I'm telling you it works every single solitary time, almost. Restart the thing, right? Anyway, so I get drawn into your ecosystem. Your art was hanging in a cafe. I saw you at a gallery show. I saw you at an in-person show. I scanned a QR code somewhere, whatever it is. Inevitably, what ends up happening is they're like, okay, let me go check this person out on Instagram. So Instagram is incredibly important in that capacity. But also Instagram is incredibly important because I know the vast majority of you are just getting started in your marketing, right? You don't have hundreds of thousands of followers on Instagram, not that you need that anyway, or any social media platform for that matter. And it's important to understand where we exist in time right now, 2023. Prior to TikTok emerging on the scene, there was a social contract with Meta, which used to be Facebook and Instagram. The social contract said this. You market on my platform, and as a result of you marketing on my platform, I'm going to let you acquire followers, fans. Once those followers and fans follow you, you can post on my platform, and some certain number of these people are going to end up seeing your content. And that was sort of the social media contract. People are just telling me my audio is bad. So when you have small children, what they like to do is play with every single solitary knob and dial that you have in your complicated audio setup. That should make me a little bit louder, I think. Okay. Where was I? So Instagram, the social media contract. It used to be you would market on there. People would follow you. Some small percentage of those people that follow you would see your posts. Okay. Then TikTok came along. And before then, Instagram, Facebook, Meta now had essentially a monopoly, right? There was no competition for them whatsoever. The minute TikTok came on and started stealing all these young users of Facebook and Instagram was like, okay, wait, we got to do something about this. We got to do something about this immediately. And what they did is they ripped up that social contract. And what the social contract says now is you can come onto Instagram, okay? You can have 1 or 2 or 5 or 10 followers. It can literally be your buddies from high school, your friends from high school, and your mom, okay? Or maybe your mother-in-law. And you start marketing on the platform, and you're able to create content. And even if you have 5 followers, if you create what's called an Instagram reel, you can potentially reach thousands of people. Because what Instagram does now with this Reels product, as a result of this competition from TikTok, is it will potentially show that Instagram Reel to all sorts of people that don't follow you. Good job, Juliet. See, you restart, it fixes the problem 90% of the time. And so that represents like a really, really impressive time in the world of social media marketing and what you can do, because you can come onto the platform just being getting started. You haven't been doing it for years. You're not really sophisticated, and you start creating what are called Instagram Reels, and you have the potential for thousands of people to see it. That's insane. That's amazing. You can do that without leaving your house. Okay, you can do that with sitting in your car, showing off your art, showing off your process, doing all of these types of things. And so it really does represent a very interesting moment in time in which you can do some incredible things on the platform. Now, I'd be curious, throw in the chat, how many of you guys know what an Instagram Reel is, or how many of you have ever made one? Or just say, I've made one, no, never, right? Most people are kind of like, well, what are you talking about? What are Instagram Reels? I don't really understand. I'm on Instagram right now, and so I made some. I made a reel. Okay, good. I love you guys saying that you've made these. They're amazing. Okay, they're incredible, and we can talk about all these things and hashtags and all the rest. And they're very, very easy to do, but they take a ton of practice to figure out and how to get good at. Okay, and they're essentially, what happens is that, and this gets really confusing, and there's no other way to make it. Well, I'll try to make it less confusing. Any video that you create on Instagram is now turned into a reel, okay? What Instagram calls a reel. Now, on Instagram, if you look on my screen, you can see I've got a phone on the side of me, right? And if I go to Instagram, my profile, you can see that let me just go to the feed, right? And you scroll through the normal feed. Everyone usually knows what this is on Instagram. Essentially, any video you see here is now a reel. All of these things that we're looking at that have video, these are all reels. And it's essentially any video that you make is a reel. Now, here's the complicated part about it. You can make longer videos and place those on Instagram. And what Instagram does is it turns it into a reel, and the reel links to the longer video. Or you can make a real reel, the actual reel, which are 120 seconds or less, okay? And that is saved as a reel. Or you can create a live broadcast on Instagram, and then Instagram will turn that into a reel. And essentially what it does is it puts a little teaser clip of the longer video, throws that in the feed. And if that sounds totally confusing, it is because it is totally confusing, okay? Instagram is notorious for making things insanely confusing, right? But they're very easy to make. They're extremely effective, and they're an incredible way for you to grow your art photography business. So if you've never heard about one, maybe I'll just make a couple here and we'll go right through it. And I want you to start making them. If you need help ever throughout the whole Reels process, because it is so ever changing and they're constantly updating the platform and everything else, just understand YouTube is your best friend. YouTube is a marketer's best friend. How do I make an Instagram reel? How do I make an Instagram reel with an Android phone? How do I make an Instagram reel on whatever your situation is? And because it gets updated so often, it's crazy powerful. But I'm going to do show and tell. I'm not just going to talk about it. I'm going to do it. I'll make a couple of these, talk about why they're awesome, and then we'll go right into Q&A, and I'll look at some of your guys' Instagram accounts, try to get you guys to do them. So I'm in the Instagram app here. You can see I'm in my feed. And at the very, very bottom, you can see that there are these little icons: home, the magnifying glass plus, the Reels button, and then there's your profile button, okay? And I usually like to start on the profile button, okay? And at the very top of the screen, you can see that there's that little plus button, right? And if I click that plus button, and I see you guys throwing questions in the chat, please do throw them in there. I will answer every single solitary one of those once when I get to it. If I press this little plus button at top, you can see it brings up this menu, and it says Reel, Post, Story, Highlight, Live, Guide. I'm going to go ahead and press Reel, okay? And I'm going to need to turn my lights on for this. Do I? No, I don't think I need to. And I want to show you what I believe to be an incredibly easy way for you guys as artists and photographers to create these things, okay? And it's called the green screen effect. Now, you can see behind me, I have an actual green screen behind me. You do not need to have a green screen at all. You can take any photo and get it into your phone, and it can be an actual photo. It can be a video of you in doing your art and your process. It can be a customer standing next to the art on the wall, or a customer holding your art outside of the booth, or something that you find creative, right? Any and all of the above. And if I scroll over to this green icon here, okay, do you see how it's now replaced the background that I had, and it's put me on it with just a regular photo background, and I can click change background, okay? And it gives me these nonsense stock image, backgrounds, but I can go to camera roll, okay, and I can click one button, and I took a photo of, get in there, oh yeah, okay, it's in there now. By the way, this is the neighbor kid that will like come into my office and take photos of herself on my phone when I'm not here. Hilarious. So I've got a podcast. It's called the Art Marketing Podcast. And all I did is that I went to it in Apple Podcasts, took a screenshot on my iPhone. Okay. And now I have the podcast that is behind me, right? And it's Merchandising 101. Okay. And to make the reel itself, I'm going to press this green screen button, and it's going to go right into me being able to record this reel. Okay. So watch this. I'm going to do it right now in real time. What's up, Instagram? One thing that artists and photographers get wrong all the time is merchandising. And I want that to stop. So I recorded an incredible podcast about how to merchandise your art. The fact that you need to have samples on hand in the 5 main media types: paper, canvas, metal, acrylic, wood, how to think about merchandising, how you need more photos in your feed of you holding the art. And all you have to do is listen to this podcast, and you're going to be up to speed. You can find it anywhere podcasts are listened to. Just go ahead and check it out right there. It's called the Art Marketing Podcast. It's on Spotify. It's on Acast, Aweber, Stitcher. Who even listens to Stitcher? I don't know. Apple Podcasts, wherever you may listen. I want you to check it out. Just search the Art Marketing Podcast. Look for the orange logo with the headphones, and you can find it. Okay, I just pressed stop. I'm just going to press next. What's up, Instagram? One thing. Okay, I'm going to click next. There it is, the cover. I'm going to click share, and it's now posting to Instagram. So in 2 seconds, right, I just made a reel with my little background image, okay? And you could do the exact same thing with anything. You could do it with your art. You could do it with any jazzy background you have. You could be talking about your inspiration. You could show off your cat for all I care, because you guys are the brand just as much as the art is the brand, and people like to know who the artist is and what makes them tick, okay? So the green screen is an insanely powerful way to contemplate how to make reels, because it's one of the things my customers struggle with more than anything else. Like, I'm not that interesting. I don't lead that interesting of a life. What should I do? What is the best thing that I can focus on? And it's like, it's so simple. Just talk about what makes you you, show off some of your art, show off some of your process, and you can see that this thing is now live, right? And so there it is. It's live. And what I can do is I can go to my Reels tab. Oh, that's loud. Sorry. Go to my profile tab. I'm going to click on this particular video in question, okay? I'm going to go down, and you see below it, there's the little paper airplane. I'm going to click the paper airplane. And what that allows me to do in one click is add that reel that I just created to my Instagram story, okay? So I'm now going to add it to my story. And what it does is one thing that artists and photographers get wrong all the time is merchandising. And I want that to stop. I'm just going to turn the volume off so I don't have to listen to this blowhard. And now I can just take this thing like this, okay? I can go ahead and put a search on here, and I'm going to do podcast. Let's see if it comes up. There it is. So I'm just going to use that thing to jazz it up, put it right there. I'm going to go next. I'm going to go share. Done. So in that short little period of time, I just created 2 pieces of content for my Instagram account. I used that green screen thing. I showed off my podcast, which I'm trying to promote. I talked about it a little bit. Then I went ahead and threw that into my Instagram story, and that is now 2 pieces of content I made in Instagram in 2 seconds. And there it is. You can see it's in my story. I click next. There it is. And if people click on the thing in question, boom, they can go watch reel, and they're thrown right into the reel, right? That's really, really high ROI activity. Like, that did not take me that long. You could use any screenshot you have. It can be somebody left you a nice comment on Instagram, and you want to tell them, thanks, you're awesome, you're an amazing human, I love you, right? And boom, you can just screenshot it, go right in, do the green screen. No one has to look at whether or not your house is in order, right? Or it's a messy house day, or you're sitting in your car and you don't like your car. You can do that with anywhere, and you can just churn these things out in 2 seconds. And you can see, like, even our CEO at this company, he does them all the time, right? Like, he'll grab random screenshots, right, of random features and go and post it. And everyone's like, well, this green screen thing, it looks a little weird. It doesn't look like super polished, and that's the beautiful thing. This is the type of stuff that is truly real and truly relevant on social media, right? So, he one of his favorite things to do is just screenshot actual comments, right? And you take the screenshot, you do the green screen thing, it's now in front of you, you're talking about it, and it's awesome. It's like, what if one of your comments was like, hey, this is an incredible piece. What was your inspiration, right? And then all you have to do is have the piece, have the comment, and go, thanks so much for that comment. Here's what my inspiration was, and talk about it. Boom, post it. So incredibly, incredibly easy to make. Those are actual reels. Okay. Then I'll show you how to make these 3 ways. This is what I did recently, and I kind of like it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to my little hearts here. And when you're on Instagram, and for some of you guys who are just getting started, you won't have a ton of comments, but I want to show you this anyway. So if I go to the heart section here, right, what this is going to do is give me my comments that people have left, and I'm going to filter this for comments. And I know this is a lot for you guys that have never turned on Instagram before, but you might have to just rewatch it later. And one of the incredible things that it allows you to do, Instagram, okay, is if somebody leaves a comment on one of your reels, and see if I can find one where somebody has a legitimate question that I can answer here. Hold on. No, that's not one. No. I just have to pick one. Okay, that's good. So you can see here that I'm on a reel, and here's a comment, right? Now, we all sort of intuitively understand, okay, responding to comments on social media, we've done that in some capacity. You hit reply and you reply to it. But what's amazing with reels is they'll let you reply to a comment with another reel, okay? So let's say you make a reel and somebody leaves you a comment like, this work is amazing, this is incredible. Do you have this? Does this come in canvas or metal, or what size is it? Or I'm interested in a commission. You can grab their comment, hit reply, and if you see, there's this little blue camera icon to the left of this person's name. And if I click it, you can see what it's done now is it's now clipped the comment, and you can see it's right there. I can move it around if I like. And I can now respond to that question directly with a reel. And so if I press this button, I'm now talking and essentially responding to this comment, okay, with another reel, with another piece of content. And it's sort of doing its thing, right? And, I'm talking, hey, great, thank you so much for your comment. I click stop, boom, I can click next, ready to go, and that will create another reel for me on the spot. And so they've really made it insanely easy to do, okay? And Thomas is like, can this all be done on desktop? Sadly, no, you have to do all of it on the phone. They want you to do it all on the phone. And one Mike says here, age is nothing but a number. I've had 90-year-olds on these Zoom sessions, okay, learning how to do this and doing this. So age is totally just a number. So I'm going to go ahead and discard this one. I have to start over, and then, yeah, I got out of it. I'm going to go ahead and discard that one. But the comment ones, you guys, are so insanely powerful. And it's like, I'll create a bunch of reels. I'll wait for some people to leave me some comments, and then I'll go in and reply. And you can see I do these all the time. I do them. My CEO does them. And there's a reason that we both do them, because this is insanely effective marketing in today's day and age. And let me tell you, it's not any different if we are trying to build this business than it is for you guys trying to build your art business and sell more art and photography, okay? There's no difference here. So there is another way to do it. The third way to create reels that I absolutely love are what are called live broadcasts. And I know probably some of you have not done a live broadcast, or maybe you've seen a live broadcast, but you don't really know how to do it. You've never thought about it. They're amazing, okay? The fact that you can have a phone, you can press a button, and instantaneously you're talking via live video to whoever that is following and in your feed at that moment in time is just an insane thing about technology. I mean, it's sort of like we have our own opportunity to be a television station and put our content out into the world. And when we contemplate the alternative to that, like you getting your message out live to a place where a bunch of people are, you'd have to pay for a television ad, or you'd have to pay to run an ad in a paper, right? Or you'd have to pay for social media ads. You can do this completely for free. And once you start doing it enough and you get really, really good at it, the whole ballgame changes. And so I'll do one of these live. I want to show you how easy this is to do. So I'm going to go again to the very bottom of the Instagram bar. And in the bottom right-hand corner is this little, person icon. And that gives me the little plus sign up top. Okay. And I'm going to click the plus sign again. Last time I pressed reel, okay, and this time I'm going to press live. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go live for a moment, okay, talk to my Instagram followers. I'm going to save the video after the fact, and it's going to create a reel out of that video. So now I'm doing 2 pieces of Instagram content for the price of 1. Afterwards, I can go ahead and throw that thing into my Instagram story like I did, and I just created 3 pieces of content all in just a short period of time, which is just absolutely extraordinary. So anyway, I'm going to go live. Here it is. It shows me, and I'm just going to show how this whole process works. All right, what's up, Instagram? I am currently in a Zoom workshop teaching these lovely folks how to run an Instagram Live, and there's no better way to do that than to actually do an Instagram Live. So quickly, for anyone that's on this and wants to join this workshop, you can. All you have to do is leave me a comment on this thing with the word Zoom. I will send you a link to join this Zoom workshop live if you want to do that, and it's literally happening right now as you're seeing this. We can do that. But what I've been teaching these folks on the Zoom is how easy it is to go live on Instagram. How you don't need any special equipment, you don't need anything other than your phone, and instantaneously you can be talking to folks live on a social media platform that just happens to be the most important social media platform for artists and photographers out there, which is crazy, okay? Which is crazy. MJ, the next one's on Wednesday. And you can see people are leaving me comments, and I'm responding to comments. You can see Kim left me a comment Zoom, so I'm going to send her a link to come into this session with some other technology. And that's it is. Kim, see, I appreciate that. Kim's telling me that I'm the bee's knees. Love Kim. So how easy was that? Like I'm live right now while I'm with you guys on a computer. I'm live now talking to these fine folks. And I'm doing all of that at the same time. Like, how easy is that? I even got somebody that asked to join. Let's see if this works or not. So this is another like advanced feature you can do where somebody can jump in, request to be on your live broadcast, and in real time, it will take it and get them to join it. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Oh, here we go. What's up, Tony?
Oh, hi.
I'm actually,
I didn't know I was coming live.
Yeah, believe it, right now, I'm actually doing a workshop. My cell phone is on the computer where I am teaching people how to go live on Instagram. And I was like, I don't even know who Tony is. Tony just requested. Maybe he has a question. So I've got you. You're live. You have a question, brother?
No, I don't. I was just coming in to listen to what you had to say.
Oh, amazing. So what you did was you requested to be part of the broadcast. And so as a result of that, when you press like the little plus button, I get like a little, hey, do you want to join? You know, Tony wants to join. Are you willing to talk with Tony? I was like, yeah, why not? But how?
I must have did it, not even realize it.
Yeah, for sure. And but how cool is that? And how easy? And look at how smart Tony is that he's got his art behind him, right? Already showing it off. What do we just tell?
That's strategy.
Yeah, tell us what we're looking at behind you. Just tell us about the piece a little bit.
That's the Roebling Bridge. It's a bridge in Cincinnati.
Mm-hmm.
First year I went full-time art, I started painting a lot of cityscapes.
Mm-hmm.
Built up my portfolio, and that's one of the first ones I did. And I got that for free from Art Storefront when I made my first vendor purchase.
Amazing. So what is that? What is that one? Yeah. What is that one printed on?
It's canvas wrap.
Yeah. Well, it looks fantastic.
Thanks.
Thanks for joining. Ask to join anytime. Happy to do it when you have questions. I'm gonna get back to my workshop. Come see me in office hours.
Sounds like a plan.
All right. Thanks. So I'm gonna go ahead and end the broadcast. Right. I'm gonna end it now. And if I go down here to share, I can give this thing a caption. Go live more often. Okay. Go live more often. I can give it a cover if I want, and the cover is just basically like a screenshot. It's way more interesting with him on there. Okay, I look like I'm. Let me see. Oh yeah, that's good. So I'm gonna go done. I'm gonna choose that one. Okay. I can give this thing some hashtags if I want to, and then boom, share. Oh, it knocked my caption out. I don't even care. I'm just gonna click share. Share. And now what happens is that live broadcast I just made is over, right? So the live portion is done, but now what it's done is it's taken the live broadcast I did, and it's turned it into a reel, and then put it in my feed. And so the amazing thing was I was able to do a live broadcast there. Then I was able to save it, which then is now placed it into my Instagram feed. And if I want, I can go ahead and throw this in my story like I did before, right? I am currently in a Zoom workshop. Share, done. I just did more marketing in 10 minutes than most of you guys have done all week, potentially all month. That is how easy that is to do. And that's just 3 incredible ways to take advantage of Reels. And I want all of you guys doing more of them. And so that's how it goes. So, okay. What now? We'll open it up to Q&A. How does Q&A work? If you're one of the brave ones that has your camera on and you have a question, I'll see you. All you have to do is raise your hand and I can unmute you, bring you on for a question. Okay. For everybody else, if you look at the bottom of your Zoom window, you see there's this little smiley face thing and it says reactions. If you click on that, that gives you a way to raise your hand digitally speaking. And that lets me know, hey, I've got a question. I want to ask something. Come on, answer it that way. If you don't want to turn your camera on, you don't have to turn your camera on, okay? I hate being on video, so totally understand that. You can ask via audio. And then if you're one of the ones that's leaving comments on Facebook or Instagram or YouTube, I see those. Thank you, Judith, for not wearing a hat. I normally wear a hat all the time. Kate's saying, is it better to use Instagram Reels instead of uploading TikTok videos to Insta? Yeah, you cannot upload TikTok videos to Insta, by the way. Ever, ever, ever under any circumstances. The minute Instagram sees that little bouncing TikTok logo, it'll go, party's over. And by the way, don't TikTok is lame anyway, so just don't even do it. All right, One Mike, you're up first today. Thanks for being brave. Kick us off.
Cool. Well, first off, I want to say thank you guys all at Art Storefronts for all that you do. It's not really any other company I know on this level providing free, education and tips for artists and photographers that really try to make us, a living out of this.
Thanks so much for saying that.
Of course. I guess my question is, thank you for showing how easy it is to, use all of these features.
Yeah.
But I'm really curious about hashtags. Do they make a difference? Should we be using 1 million? Should we be using 1?
Yeah.
What is your input with hashtags?
It's a great question, right? Because do you know what it comes down to? You know that saying, like, if a tree falls in the middle of the forest and no one's around to hear it, does it make a sound, right? And the point in saying that is no one knows. You as the content creator that's using hashtags will never have any damn idea whether or not they worked or not, because we don't have any data that Instagram gives us on whether or not that's actually true, right? So I need to say that as an important disclaimer. Number 2, the algorithm has gotten so good that a way to think of a hashtag, okay, and you're about my age, we at least grew up in the era of TV channels where we had to change channels, right? Hashtags now just represent channels, okay? And the channel is essentially your interest, okay? So before, we sort of had to tell Instagram what channel our content was, and that was a way of using hashtags, okay? And there are some small portion of Instagram that will go on and, they'll come to search. Here, I'm gonna cut you out and put this in. So they'll come here to search and they'll go like, abstract art, right? And they'll search abstract art, and if I search it, it's gonna ask me if I want to isolate to tags, right? So, okay, now I had to go to search. I had to get off For You, which it gave me. I had to move off accounts. I had to move off audio. I had to move off tags. And then I went to abstract art, okay? So I'm now on the hashtag that is abstract art. And I can potentially get in here, right, and scroll through a bunch of abstract art for a while. And I can do that, right? And if I'm on someone else's post and they've got abstract art in the tag, right? So if I get here and I click more, I know it's a little hard to see. What's the best I can do? Somewhere in there is abstract art. So if they did that and I was like, man, that was really cool, I want to see more abstract art, I can click it and I'll be in abstract art. So are a lot of people doing that on Instagram? I don't think so. I think it's a small number, okay? Will the tags hurt you? Absolutely not. They won't hurt you. But the better part is Instagram, Facebook, Meta now, I have to say, is getting so damn smart with their AI that they don't even need you to post a hashtag. They already know what the hashtags are. And so they're just throwing it in there for you. So here's what I think. let's say you like live in a really, really safe neighborhood and you don't ever lock your door at night. Like, that's kind of stupid, right? Like, who wants to sleep with their door open at night? Like, the best practice is we lock our door at night, right? Not because we don't trust our neighbors, not because we don't think humanity is good, but because that's a best practice. That's kind of how I approach the hashtags. I'll put in 2 or 3. If I'm in a rush, I could care less. I'm not worried about researching 20 or 30 or 40 of them, okay? Do not worry about that. Don't waste the time. What I would much rather have you focus on, what I would say the only metric that matters, especially for the first couple of years, is how much content are you creating on the platform a week? How many pieces? And I'm going to show you, okay? So you need a business account to be able to have this insights report. Anybody can switch from a personal account to a business account in one click. Just search how to do it on YouTube, and it's totally reversible if you ever change your mind. But the only metric that matters to me is I come on here, I go to insights, okay? And it pulls up my little insights panel. And down here is the content you shared section, right? I like to look at it personally in weeks. Weeks for me in my world runs Sunday to Saturday, okay? And so the 2nd to the 8th was last week. I'm going to go ahead and hit update. So for me, last week was 6 posts, 48 stories, 54 reels, 3 videos, and 3 live videos, okay? That's the only metric that matters to me. That's it. The only thing I care about. I don't care about hashtags. I don't care about, what time of day I posted or what the balance was. I know that number totals up to be about like 110, 112, 15, something like that. I should have done 300. I only did 115. Now, in fairness, I was out of town all week last week, so it would have been there otherwise. But that is the metric that matters right now. We just don't know. We don't have any downstream tracking, right? Like, the algorithm's doing this, the algorithm's doing that. This is the special technique this week, like da-da-da-da-da. I've been doing this a long time. Trying to chase any of that nonsense is a fool's errand because you can't control it. You don't know what it is. You'll never be able to measure it. The only thing that you can measure is what your output is. And what happens when you focus on your output, how many pieces of content am I creating per week, is that you'll then work on creating those pieces of content. And what that's going to do is force you to get better and better and better. And you'll start to learn what works, what resonates, what's best for my audience, what's not best for my audience, right? And it's like, I'm constantly looking at that and constantly updating my thinking on that and constantly getting better. And if you were on in the beginning, one mic, there's 2 tracks. There is the track that your art is on, okay? And then there's the separate train on how good you're getting at the art of marketing. And when you focus on the number of pieces of content that you've created a week, I know that your mind is going to be aimed in the one thing that's going to start improving your business. And so that's how I like to think about it and how I like to approach it. I was kind of deep on some levels, I know. I got to unmute you again because I think you muted again.
Oh, yeah, that was in some parts the answer I was looking for, because I did feel like what you were saying as I was, doing the research, and there's some algorithms and AIs now that tell you what hashtags are best.
Yeah.
It just felt like sort of fool's gold. Like you said, there's no direct line of data to know which are working, which aren't.
No, and all the gurus are like, spend a bunch of time putting 20 hashtags in there and researching which ones are the best. It's like, no. Focus on the things that you can control and that will change the game. And for me, the constant analogy that I go back to, and I think this is so true. Like, I don't know if you're into fishing or not, if you've ever been fishing or if you enjoy fishing, but let's say you do enjoy fishing, and both of us are fishermen, right? And you and I live in the same town, and down there at the dock are 2 identical boats. There's your boat and my boat, right? Let's say you're way better at fishing than me, okay? You grew up doing it. You learned from your dad, who is the master. You know everything about tides. You know what the best time of day is. You know all of those things, right? And so you go out at the best times, and you do really well during those times. But you're only fishing 3 days a week, or 3 hours a week, let's say. You know what I'm doing? I'm fishing 10 hours a day, every single solitary day. Guess who's going to win? I'm going to win. You got it. Because you never know. You never know the serendipity of when the fish are going to be biting, right? It doesn't matter how good your local knowledge is. Like, this is a complex ecosystem, nature, right? There's tides, and El Nino is on, and there was a red tide, and there's some sort of algae bloom, whatever it is, right? Like, it's the hours you spend on the water that makes the difference and that you can control, right? And so when you realize that, you're like, wait a minute. Instagram, these algorithms, all this other nonsense that everyone's focusing about sounds a lot like the ocean, right? It's that technical. So I know it's just hours on the water for me. That's it. I know I have to create my art. I know I have to invest my time in it, but I also know that this is the most important platform for selling art and photography. Okay. I know it's my art form. It's a train on the track that I have to get good at. What's the one thing I can control? The number of pieces of content that I create a week. And when I focus on that, I know my mind, my heart is in the right place because I'm going to get better at it and better at it and better at it. And I'm going to level up my craft. That's the game.
Great stuff. Great stuff. That was a great answer, Patrick. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to this upcoming week, and Prime Day is coming. So
big deal.
Looking forward to creating content and capitalizing on
big deal. Prime Day starts tomorrow. Don't mess around. How did you know about that? Are you a customer?
No, I mean, I use it, but my wife is the reason I knew about that because she mentioned it this morning.
Yeah.
She was getting stuff for the cat.
Yeah. But we have,
yeah.
Like it is such. Now you send me down another rabbit hole, but fine. Okay. I'll do it. Every single solitary year for the last like 4 years, I've tried to get as many of my customers as possible to run a sale during Prime Day. Prime Day, outside of Black Friday, Cyber Monday, is the second biggest e-commerce holiday in the United States. Okay. Mm-hmm. Jeff Bezos is a genius. And just to give you a quick little side story, because I love this side story, because ordinarily China copies us on just about everything. Okay. Right. And wins. China, okay, invented a holiday out of thin air. Okay. It's on 11/11, November 11th. And they called this holiday Singles Day. Okay. And it was made up out of thin air for their e-commerce giant over there. It is now the single solitary biggest e-commerce. It started out as a day and then it was 3 days. Now it's a week. It's now the single solitary biggest e-commerce day in the history of the world. Like, I think last year was like 7 or 8 times the size of Black Friday, Cyber Monday. So Jeff Bezos, okay, guy who owns Amazon, saw that and he's like, if those guys can make up a holiday out of thin air, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make up a holiday out of thin air. That is Prime Day, right? And so what happens is that everybody knows that there are these deals in the water during Prime Day. And Amazon advertises everywhere. And because so many of us have Prime memberships, it's like 70% of the United States, it's some ridiculous number like that. Don't fact check me on that, but it's close. And they're spending so much money in their ads, and the email promos is like, it wires it, it's like chumming for sharks, right? Like Amazon's throwing all this blood in the water. So everyone's ready for a deal. And so all my customers are running Prime Day sales. And do you know what they say? Support the small business. Forget the monoliths and those big guys that are out for price. Support the small business. I'm having a Prime Day sale. And so you'll see all of my customers will be running a Prime Day sale starting tomorrow. So that's why I asked you whether or not you're a customer. Good on you for knowing that. Hit it. Get a sale in the water. Do it right after this. Do an Instagram live and be like, guys, you got to support the small artist, okay? We can't all support Amazon. Support the small artist. I'm running a Prime Day sale. Let's go.
I'm ready for it, man.
All right.
Ready for it. Thanks a bunch, Patrick.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thanks for coming with Mike. All right. Who else, guys? Questions? That was a good one. He got me fired up there. Kim, are you running a Prime Day sale? Yeah, good. Hold on. One mic, listen to this. Kim's a customer, and I just unmute Kim and tell him what you're doing for Prime Day.
Oh, I am doing an originals sale. 30% off.
30%.
All original. Yep.
All originals for 2 days.
Yep.
And did you run Prime Day sale last year?
I think, yeah, I did. Yeah.
Do you remember how it went?
Everything's a blur. Sorry.
Yeah.
I do between 20 and 26 shows a year, so everything like overlaps.
Yeah. Kim's a road warrior, and this is what your brain turns into when you have to set up a booth every single solitary weekend and stand in the sun. Not easy, especially on a Monday, right?
Yeah. I'm doing inventory to see what the hell I sold this weekend.
Well, good.
But yeah, I also managed to get into the aquarium on the bay in San Francisco.
Well, that doesn't suck. That's a proper venue. And Kim, we should mention Kim's art is zoo animal / nature inspired, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome, and thank you, and good luck with your Prime Day sale. All right. Who else, guys? Questions, comments? Could be anything about anything. You can either raise your hand, digitally speaking, or you can, turn on the camera and raise it old school. Okay, Steve Flores Cortez, will you please post this podcast up after it's done? Would love to go back and listen to it for reference. Yeah, so Steve, this is just a video, and we're going to send it to you as soon as this thing is over, done and dusted. And Brian, to turn on your camera, there's a little camera icon in the bottom left-hand corner. What else? I believe you can do all this on a tablet. Yeah, one mic, you can 100% do all of it on a tablet. Instagram, I don't even understand why they don't do this, but on a tablet, the Instagram app is just they blow it up. They don't make like an iPad specific app, which is lame. I don't know why they do that, but anyway. Okay, Brian, you're up next. Go ahead, Brian.
Okay, so my only question is, what's the difference between Instagram Live and Instagram Reel?
Yeah, so totally different things. And again, I don't know if you heard me say like earlier, but I don't know if they do this on purpose to torture us, but they make it so damn confusing with all these different things. Okay, so I'll take it from the top. Any video that you put on Instagram now turns into a reel. Okay, so that just happens automatically. That's their way of trying to keep us all on their platform for as long as possible. So what videos can you make on Instagram? You can make a regular video, which is just a feed video, okay? And that can be one you shot somewhere or you upload, whatever you want to do. That's a video. Or you can make a reel, which is a reel, right? Which I showed, which is up to 120 seconds or less, okay? And Instagram Live is actually going live. So with reels, you're just taking a video and you're saying, here, Instagram, use this as a reel, right? You can make it right there on the spot, or you can shoot it ahead of time and then upload it after the fact. Going live, you can go up to an hour in time, okay? And then once it's over, when they show like a trailer for a movie, right? It's not the whole movie, it's the trailer. So then Instagram takes your live, Brian. It takes the first 120 seconds of it, I think, or maybe it's 60 seconds of it, and then puts that in your feed. And if I click on it, it sends me to the movie immediately. You know what I mean? So that's how it works. But the way that I like to think about it, and the two good analogies I use, I don't really love golf, but golf works, or I like cooking. So the cooking analogy, like all of them are important. The feed videos are important. The reels are important. The live videos are important. And if you like the golf analogy, like, you have a bunch of different clubs in the bag for different shots, right? If you like the cooking analogy, you got different knives for different jobs, but all of them are important if you want to make a great meal. So that's the way that I like to think about them, and I like to kind of articulate how to go about them. I do all of the above. I do all of the above.
Thank you for your answer.
Yeah. Thanks for coming. All right. I just got back from vacation, and I went diving, and I haven't gone diving in like a long time, like 10 years. And between that and the plane, my whole ear is like stuffed up. I can't tell if I'm yelling or if this is too quiet or what. My ears are jacked up, I tell you. But okay, who else? Comments, questions, concerns? Otherwise, I will send you a replay of this entire thing. Oh, yeah. Steve was asking me to check out this thing. This is another thing that's so annoying when I do this. It's like I have to get like an external keyboard. So SFLO. Hold on. SFLO Rescortes. Is that it? Sergio Flores Jr.? No. Flow. Hold on. Cortez. Cortez. Okay, I think that's it. All right. So let me get this down, pull this up. So, all right. So Steve's saying, will you take a look at my Instagram account? What do you think? Right? And so here we are. He's got 2,000 followers, and this is right. This is correct, right, Steve? This is the right one. Yeah, pretty sure it is. 2,000 followers, great. Interesting profile picture. I don't know if that's your logo or if that's your art. I personally prefer the profile picture to be a picture of you if you're not like a crazy brand, that has like a crazy logo that you're really, really proud of, just because it's going to be hard when it's that small for me to recognize it's you. But I like that you have 2,000 followers. Okay, so it says Duende. It says father, collage artist, firm photographer at Holdfast Studios, film photographer rather. It's got his Gmail address. For inquiries, please DM or email. Okay, I like that. I think all of that works. I think give me a link to somewhere. You probably don't have a website, and so if you're just on Instagram, that's fine. Okay, I'm cool with that. And then let me scroll down, see your feed. So you've got a bunch of different collage kind of stuff. Let's see. Here's one of your reels doing my process stuff. I like to see that. One thing that bothers me about your feed immediately is, where are you in here? I can't see a photo of you anywhere. You know, I see the back of you there. Otherwise, this is just your art, your art, your art, your art. And who is this? Is this you holding it? No, this is Surfer Sushi. One of the things that's, I know you guys don't like this, okay? And I don't like it either because I have a face for radio. But you, the artist or photographer in question, are just as much a part of the brand as the art is. And so when I see this, Steve, I don't see any photos of you. I don't see any photos of you holding your art, and I would like to. Okay, I want to look at your stories. Let's see. I'm envious of wherever you live, brother. Is this Florida? I don't know. Yeah. More photos of you holding your art, more photos of you and your process, more reels of you obviously talking about it, and I want to go to your reels in a second. But I love that you have story highlights all done, okay? I think you're doing a great job there. I would see, let's see. And, you know, a great way to think about what the story highlights are is like, the story highlights are a beautiful thing. And if you don't know what story highlights are, you can make Instagram stories, and then you can save them to these things called story highlights, and they appear here at the bottom of your Instagram feed, and you click them and it goes right into the story where it talks about it, right? A great way to think about these is, if you are going to have, and I dig your art, dude. I mean, you've got some crazy stuff going on here. I like it. You know, if you think about your story highlights, is they should be the menu to what your website would be. So if you had a website and you had a menu bar at the top, right? Home, about me, commissions, da-da-da-da. You know, you want your story highlights to more or less reflect that. That's a good way to think about them, but I'm really happy that you have them. And I just want to quickly check out your reels. Let's see. Local artists or local lifeguards.
Pool deck this Saturday. It's all part of an event to help out the local junior lifeguard program.
Okay, so that's you in there doing some collage meets fashion. Who's copped one? I assume these are yours. See, I love this. It shows you're a dad, right? And that you've got kids. I'm all for like showing like, you know, one of the greatest things, like what most people do in reels. Beautiful fish surfboard there. That's totally awesome. What most people do in reels is they like try to like, I got to make something so cool looking and edgy and use the music, right? And it's all well and good. It's okay to do those things sometimes, but largely they're bullshit, right? Like, show me your art. Don't try to be trendy and cool, and show me the real you, right? Which is why I love that you've got your kids in here. You know, I've got kids too. They paint my walls all the time. I want to kill them, right? And so you show that off sometimes. And I literally just got my whole house painted too. I was gone on vacation, and when my kids come home, I'm gonna sit them down and be like, the first one of you that touches one of those damn walls is getting the shoe, and I'm talking at speed. Anyway, sorry, rant. But you're doing it. You're making reels, which is great. Again, I want to see more of you and more of what makes you tick. What you're interested in, and get to know you a little bit. And, you know, this is one of the things I've been like lecturing my customers about like a whole bunch recently, is like, you can't hide behind your art. Okay. People don't just buy art. They buy a story. They buy a human being behind it. What makes you tick? What makes you you? What are you interested in? Are you a foodie, a dog person, a cat person? Do you like music? Do you live in Florida? Do you surf on the weekends? Do you have some sort of crazy interest? Do you do CrossFit? I don't care what it is, but you want your potential buyers to bond with who you are as a human being, what makes you tick, what makes you interesting. And that is how you figure things out, or that is how people get bonded to you and purchase things. Sorry, I got distracted. Ezekiel was asking me on Facebook, what are some techniques for converting views on Instagram and Facebook into website traffic? Really, Ezekiel, you're just wanting to start conversations early on. You're less concerned with website traffic. So I like, especially when you're getting started, reply to all comments. If it's on Instagram, send me a DM. Don't send them to your website. Send me a DM. Get in a conversation with them, and then send them a link if it works out. And then on Facebook, you can obviously post comments with links to your website. That's a decent way to do it. But really, these are all the sorts of things that you figure out by what we call shipping, which is just get posting, get creating content, and let that lead you where you're going. So that's what I would say. But who else, guys? Comments, questions? I will send all of you guys, obviously, a replay to this whole thing, so you can go back, watch it, click on this, that, or the other. Yeah, see, Steve, now the camera's on, okay? Now we see what Steve looks like. And it's like, look at how fast it happens. I can, like, look at Steve now and be like, okay, Steve's wearing a hat. They'll tell you, Steve, I'm almost always wearing a hat, okay? I had a hat box with me on the trip, so now you and I could talk about hats, and now we're bonding on hats, and now I'm getting to know you, right? It's like, that's how it happens when you turn the camera on, and it changes the whole ball game. It just changes the entire ball game. All right, Ryan, you're up again. Go ahead.
All right, sorry. Sorry to bother you, but it's last question.
No, don't worry. This is what this is for, dude. Don't worry at all.
Okay. Yeah. So I want to sell, I want to make money by selling copies of my artwork.
Mm-hmm.
But the only problem is it takes a while for me to make my artwork because I use color pencil and markers for my for my artwork.
Mm-hmm.
So it may take like a week, sometimes 2 weeks at most to complete a picture. But once it's done, so how would I speed that process up?
Do it,
as far as I guess producing artwork.
Do it digitally, right? Or if you don't want to do that, I mean, you don't necessarily have to speed the process up, right? But once you finish the piece, you have to get it photographed, so then you can sell reproductions of it, right? Like how long it takes to create is not necessarily a positive or a negative one way or the other, right? Like you got to control what makes the most amazing product, period. Once you do that, then again, it gets down to the marketing and getting in front of enough eyeballs, right? Because once you've made a copy of it, all those costs are done, and you could sell one or you could sell 10,000. It doesn't matter, like you're running prints, right? You can do as many as you want. So it sort of doesn't matter how long it takes per se. I wouldn't get hung up on that, but you get the stuff photographed, and then once you have it photographed, you can get it reproduced.
Okay. And could you and I think my account is at a personal account right now, but I want to switch it to a business. If you don't mind, could you take a look at my Instagram and see, show me how I could do that?
Yeah. So it won't show me all of that on my phone. It's so small. You're probably on a personal account. What I would do is I would YouTube how to switch from a personal account to a business account. It's the easiest way to figure it out. YouTube is quite literally the easiest way because they change it all the time. And again, it's totally reversible. You can switch to a business account, and then if you're like, I'm over this, I want to switch it back to a personal, you can switch it back to a personal. So you can do that at any time. But don't worry, that's not a make it or break it thing early on when you're getting started.
But I can only make money from Instagram off my artwork if it's on a business account.
No. You can make it on any. At the end of the day, somebody sends you an Instagram DM and it sells. It doesn't matter. You're not selling the art directly on Instagram anyway. They're just sending you direct messages and you're doing the deal.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, that's right. All right, Kim, go ahead.
So I'm trying something new and I wanted to share.
Yeah, go.
Okay, so my artwork is very bright and it attracts kids.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that I really like to do is encourage reading. So I started sublimating bookmarks.
Mm-hmm.
And when a kid comes in, I'll ask them if they like to read. If they like to read, I have them go get a bookmark for free. Awesome. Guess who follows?
Yeah, the parents.
Mm-hmm. Guess who buys stuff?
Yeah, the parents. It's a good technique. And you're encouraging reading, which makes me very happy as well. So good on you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what show do you have anything to show that's not a bookmark so they can see what your work looks like? Do you have anything right there?
Yeah. I'm working on a surfboard. Let me see.
Kim's got there we go.
Working on a surfboard, a mermaid.
Very cool.
Here. That's one of
an
my
octopus. Yeah. So Kim's got a whole range of various different,
mm-hmm.
marine / land animals. What kind of you would see at an aquarium or a zoo. It's a good niche.
Yeah, it's great, and I've kind of gotten to be known as the octopus lady, so it's kind of cool.
Hey, we don't get to choose these things, okay? The audience chooses for us. If that's your mm-hmm. if that's your brand, then good on you.
Right.
All right. Thanks, Kim.
All right. Thanks.
All right, guys. Any finals before we wrap her up? Call it a day. Okay. Well, what I will do is I'm going to send you a replay to this. Everybody follow Steve Cortez there, and so we see pictures of him holding his art. He's like, "Yep, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it." All right. Good encouragement. I like it. If you like what you saw, If you're contemplating signing up for Art Storefronts, go get a demo. Those buttons are all over our website. They're everywhere. All you have to do is click one, and we'll follow up, get you in a Zoom call, show you all the bells, all the whistles, all the plans, all the things. And definitely subscribe to the podcast. Again, Art Marketing Podcast, totally free on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, on anywhere that you might listen to a podcast. It's mostly me, and it's hardcore tactical marketing stuff that you can put into effect immediately. So some good advice there. But other than that, thanks for sticking it out for me on a Monday. Start making some Instagram reels immediately, except you, Zaina, because you're driving. You have to wait till you get that car parked. Then you can do some. But yeah, guys, 2 separate trains, 2 separate tracks. Your art at marketing, like how good you get at marketing. And the number one thing to focus on right now is Instagram and how many pieces of content you've created during a week. You would start focusing on that. Last week you did 0. It's going to be very easy for you to do 2 or 3. If you did 2 or 3, then do 20. Okay. You do this and you start learning. And again, I'm not some silly guru with a stupid course telling you to do something I'm not doing, okay? I'm doing like 70 of these things a week, and it's not for my health. It's not because I enjoy it, okay? I hate social media. It's an extremely effective way to get attention, and I don't have it all figured out. No one does. I'm learning. I'm experimenting with backgrounds, like with different comments, with using that green screen thing, with a whole bunch of other different things, because I don't have it all figured out. But I know the one thing that matters, the one thing that I can control, which is how much stuff am I putting out and how much better am I getting in my craft, right? How much better am I getting in my craft? It's your craft too if you guys want to have a business. No one is ever going to sell your art for you, okay? The marketplaces are bullshit. Everyone uploads there and makes no money, and getting into a gallery is very low odds and extremely low odds that you're actually going to make anything approaching a living. So you guys want to get going with your creativity. You want to get going with your creations. You want to have a business, be able to feed your family, then take the damn marketing seriously. Understand that you have to throw yourself at it, dedicate yourself to it. Understand that you are going to struggle and it's going to suck in the beginning, okay? Because it does, all right? There's no one selling $10,000 a year worth of art or $20,000 or $30,000 that just got started and is not working on their promotion. Like, it takes time to ramp it up. But when you give yourself the freedom to be able to spend that time to get good at it and to work on a craft, you have the ability in today's day and age to sell more art than at any other time ever in the history of mankind, and you can reach a worldwide audience. And that's pretty damn exciting. So get to getting, guys. Appreciate y'all. Hope you all